Welcome on everybody. Lennox here from S123 Trader. This is the weekly playbook outlook for the week of July 31st to August 5th. We are looking at the US dollar index to start off this week to see how the major pairs and so forth will do over the week. Looking on the weekly time frame, we've been in it for the last 3 weeks. We've been in an overall downtrend, and looking like perhaps this may continue for a little further weakness into this week. And on the daily, you can see again we've been in an overall move to the downside, and next line of support is right in this area here, and looks like that's kind of where we're heading at this point to that level of support. We could even go a little further to the downside, but just for this week, we are looking for a retrace back into this area. Whether we get a bounce here or we drop one more time, we'll see. But overall direction is down for the U.S. dollar. Okay, taking a look at Aussie, yeah, that would propel more than likely the Aussie. If the US dollar falls, to the Aussie would more than likely push to the upside. But right now, looking a little bit weak as well. It looks like we could fall on the Aussie a little bit here first, but if the US dollar again falls, we should see further push to the upside in Aussie. Taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now on the weekly, you can see we've come down to a previous area of support. We've taken a little bit of a bounce, but looking like it might be a short-lived bounce. We are in a channel right now, and we similar to this channel here. We chopped up and down in there and then fell through. I think that's a similar story here. We're chopping up and down, and I think we'll eventually fall through to challenge these lows, going below the previous low in the $19,000, $18,000 range. All right, so just for this week, however, looking at it, we could have another push to the upside. Perhaps I need to come down one more time frame just to get a closer look, and it is a possibility that we could get another push to the upside here. But right now we're heading to the downside. So any moves to the upside might be opportunities to sell into Bitcoin as it falls. Okay, so overall I'm looking for Bitcoin to come down for the week. All right, look at crude oil. I'll go to the weekly on crude oil, and had quite a run, but is now taking a little turn back to the downside. You can see we're in a downward mode, and looking like going into this week we'll see further weakness. We are indeed at a very strong support area, and we're likely to push into it for this week, and we could see further declines in crude oil as the weeks progress. But weakness to start off, at least in the beginning of this week. Take a look at the DAX. DAX, let me go to the weekly on that one. In an overall downtrend, right back down to a support level, and we're getting a little bit of a bounce. So a little bit of strength in the DAX, and you can see at this point that it is certainly looking like we could get a good push in the DAX going into this week. All right, so some strength in the DAX for the week. Take a look at the Canadian dollar. Let's go to the weekly. Very much choppy affair going on in the. Oops, let me just do that. Very much of a choppy affair going on in the Canadian dollar. We are doing that again. We are very much in a sideways channel and pushing back to the upside of the channel. So in the short term, we're in an overall move to the upside, and that would bode well. US dollar weakness, we more than likely see some strength in the Canadian dollar. We could challenge uh, the highs, previous highs up here, and come back into that level, certainly. Okay, so strength in the Canadian dollar going into the week. Taking a look at the euro. This is the euro. Go to the weekly. Euro in a steep decline, and looking to push back to the upside. So a weakness in the US dollar will indeed propel the euro to the upside. So right now setting up, looking like it wants to push to the upside. So a little bit of strength in the euro overall going into the week. All right, let's take a look at the Swiss franc. Go to the weekly. Swiss franc, very choppy here, very volatile, just been up and down, and it looks like a push, at least in the short term, to the upside, but that could be short-lived. As you can see, we're again inside of another channel this way, and we've pushed to the top. We're looking to push to the top. So strength in the Swiss franc in the short term, but that could be short-lived as we head back down. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Take a look at gold. Gold has been in a decline, and we've reached a very strong support area overall and have bounced out of that support area. So at this point, a little bit of strength going into this week with gold, and I would look for continued strength. Might be short-lived as well, because this could be just a end of the move to the upside, and we could see further declines in gold by the end of the week or even earlier. Okay, so a little bit of strength in gold in the short term, at least. Japanese yen on the weekly also come down quite a bit. I'm going to go to the monthly. So there's nothing over to the left to show us where we are. Let's see. Yeah, we are actually at a previous support area, and so we could see a little bit of a bounce here, and that's what's happening on the monthly. On the weekly, we're pushing to the upside. On the daily, Japanese yen looking very strong overall. Okay, but we're coming back into resistance right now, but looks pretty strong, so I'll give strength to the Japanese yen going into this week. Okay, New Zealand dollar on the weekly will be the same as Aussie, pushing to the upside. A little bit of strength in the New Zealand dollar as well going into the week. Okay, taking a look at the NASDAQ 100 on the futures. We've come back down to support. Let me just push this over a little bit so we can see the entire chart. We've come back down into a support area. So, and it's a good support area here, and we have bounced again and looking very strong at this point. It looks like we're retracing this entire move, so we could see further upside. And earnings is probably the propeller, the catalyst for this move, and looking really strong here. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe we might be getting close to the end of this move. You can see it's been a very scattered, choppy affair. Let me just move that back over. It's been a very choppy affair. And again, we're inside of a channel, up and down in it, and going to the top of it. So looking like we're getting very close to the end of this move. And I'm just going to drop down to one more time frame, take a look at it on the 4-hour. Okay, and you can see that we are very much extended in this move to the upside. So this might be over, and we could be having some weakness coming into this week for the NASDAQ. So that would hold for the other indices. Let's take a look at the British pound first. British pound on a weekly, also back down into support and trying to push back to the upside. So weakness in the US dollar will push and propel the British pound to the upside. So a little bit of strength in the British pound short term at least. Anyways, okay, and look at the Russell 2000, similar to the Nasdaq, but it did not make it down to its support area. Very close, but not quite touching. So again, more push to the upside is possible, but it's going to be more than likely a short-lived move, very choppy, and we're coming back into resistance. So I'm expecting declines in the indices this week. We might start off with some strength, but even if we do, it might be short-lived. Taking a look at the Dow, same type of move, just like the Russell, looking for further declines going into this week. Same thing for the S&P 500, exactly the same pattern, looking for further declines going into this week. And the technology group, you can see it's a identical chart pattern. Any push to the upside would be more than likely be short-lived, and would be heading to the downside. All right, so that's a look at what's setting up for this week. So profitable trading to everyone. Keep your eyes on the US dollar. If you're playing the majors, whatever that does will help you to make some pips in the major pairs. All right, we're done now. Thank you.